How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be doing an overall market update, taking a look at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. We're also going to be doing a trading update, talking about what I personally did today in the markets, as well as some stocks and ETFs that I have my eyes on right now and that I'm looking to trade here in the month of January in 2020. And as you guys read in the title, we're also going to be talking about Tesla stock and that $500 price target and the fact that it's almost at $500 and some thoughts that I have around that, as well as a stock that I sold. I sold a stock today a bit too early, and we'll kind of cover that in the trading portion of today's video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, all I ask from you is simply go down below for me and hit that like button. And I want to challenge you guys. We did a challenge a couple weeks ago to hit 150 likes, and we blew by it. We actually got like 160, 170 likes on that video. So the challenge is, can we do it again? 150 likes on this video. Go smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate that. And consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further content from me. And without further ado, guys, don't forget, hit that like button. Let's get right into the video. Starting off here with the S&P 500, ticker symbol SPX, the 500 largest publicly traded U.S. companies. And let me tell you guys, and I'm sure all of you know this at this point, most of you, it's been a roller coaster ride these past couple of hours, these past 24 hours to be exact. Because if you were paying attention to the news last night, we actually got news that I believe 2 military bases were attacked by Iran, and that ended up shooting down U.S. military bases. That ended up shooting down these futures last night down to about 1.5%, 2% at the lowest. And you guys can see, if we go to the 5-day, 5-minute, we can see exactly that, right? Market ended up closing at about 4 p.m., and then all of a sudden, massive dump in these futures of around 50 points. And from there, guys, it seems like we recovered. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, he came on air. I believe it was 11:30 a.m., 12 p.m. today. He had everybody waiting. I think the YouTube video was like an hour, 10 minutes. I'll link that down below if I remember. But the video was an hour, 10 minutes, and he literally only spoke for about 7 to 10 minutes towards the end of that video. And obviously, if you were watching it live, you were waiting for him to come out. But I personally watched the rerun of the video just because I was out during the time that he went live. But anyway, that ended up happening. He talked about the situation, and the stock market recovered beautifully from there. We can see the SPX actually hit an all-time high today at 32.67, and a couple things he mentioned is no casualties, no American casualties over in those two U.S. military bases, and it seems like Iran is standing down as of now, and there was minimal damage to the military bases. Those were some of the main draws, notes that I drew from that speech that President Donald Trump gave, and ever since then, guys, you can see these markets were rallying, I believe, as he was speaking. They consolidated a bit, or actually, no, this might have been in anticipation of his speech. They consolidated a bit, and then they ultimately rallied all the way up again. So that's kind of the story in these past 24 hours, retaliation, but at the end of the day, Trump addressed it today. No casualties, minimal damage to those bases, and it seems like the markets are just rallying from there. So if the Dow Jones, let's go over this one. The Dow Jones right now, 175 points in the green, up 0.6%. And very similar, massive push here today, from the morning, and really just in anticipation of that speech. And if we go to the futures on the Dow Jones, you can see this one was down, I believe it was 1.5% as well, 1.5 to 1.7% when we did get that news of retaliation yesterday, and ever since then, obviously, it has rallied back up as well. So all of these indexes, the Dow, the S&P, it seems like they're continuing their uptrends. If we look on the hourly chart, both of them are continuing the uptrends, higher highs, higher lows. The S&P hit an all-time high. The Dow did not hit an all-time high. but it's really right there, and it could test it sometime this week or maybe early next week. So going over here to the NASDAQ, this one's up almost 1% right now. Very strong day today for the NASDAQ, up $71.25 as of right now. If we go to the 5-day, 5-minute, we can see this one ended up tanking from 88.75 all the way down to about 86.75, shaving 100 points off yesterday in terms of these futures after we got that news. And from that point, this is insane. This is quite the turnaround from 86.75, guys, all the way back up to 89.75 in the matter of 24 hours. Literally less than 24 hours. A 300-point swing in the NASDAQ. This stuff is crazy, guys. That's a 3.3% move from the bottom to the top here, which is why, honestly, if you paid attention to stocks after hours yesterday, a lot of these stocks, especially tech stocks, they went from a point where I believe Facebook was at 206 aftermarket hours yesterday. I can't talk today, guys. And it went up to 216, 217 today, a 10-point move in less than 24 hours, which is nuts. And we'll get into that actually in a couple of minutes here. So overall, that is the market update for this video and kind of what's been going on over these past couple of, really the past 24 hours. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that down below. Are more all-time highs in store? Is this conflict with Iran, is it going to get worse here? Or are they actually standing down? I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that down below in the comment section. So today for me, guys, actually ended up being a very, very good day. I ended up taking quite a bit of profits on a couple of different swings. So let's go over that very quickly right now. The first one was actually PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. And if you guys have been following my swings, PayPal's one that I've been buying in the 106, 107, 108 range, and the goal was to sell a good amount of it at around $112. And today was that day where I locked in the profits. I think it was a bit above $112, but either way, it was right around my target sell that I had when I really initiated this plan to swing PayPal. So that was really good. Didn't sell out all of my shares because overall I'm still bullish on the stock. I still want some exposure, but at the same time I want to play it safe and lock in the profits on the really green and great day that we've had here today in the stock market. So overall, the gain on that was roughly, I'd say, close to 4%, probably a little bit more than 4% on those shares that I ended up selling. Another position that I ended up locking in some profits is Uber, guys, and this one did very well today, very, very well, up 3.4%, up $1.11, and this is one that, like you read in the title, I sold a little bit too early, but at the end of the day, I'm not complaining because I gained roughly 10% on this swing trade in the matter of a week or two, and ever since I started buying, which again is about a week or two ago, and if you guys have been following this channel, you know that I was buying, I believe, during this time period right here at about 30.50, 30.60. We dipped a bit, and I was patient here, which goes to show patience goes a long way when swing trading. A lot of people might have panicked here if they were buying at 30.50. They might have been panicking when it went down to 29.50, but if they held through, you can see from 29.50, they would have missed all those gains, that big move from 29.50 up to 34.50. And obviously, since I had patience, I've been doing this for a good amount of time now. I kind of know how things work for the most part. Obviously, I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. We all have room to learn and room to educate ourselves. But the fact that I've been doing this for a decent amount of time now, I recognize that. I held through and ended up making a pretty nice chunk today at 33.50, which again, it was a bit early. I left about $1 per share on the table because we ran up all the way to 34.50 with the shares that I ended up selling. But at the end of the day, that is part of the game. So from 30.50 roughly up to about 33.50, you guys can see that is a little bit under 10%. It wasn't exactly 10%. 9%. It was more like 8.5 to 9%, but I'll take that any day of the week, especially for a swing that I've been holding probably since around Christmas time here, during this time period. And like PayPal, I still have some shares exposed here to Uber, just because I'm still bullish on it. And the profits that I made, the money that I took out of the position, I might end up buying back in here. If we do end up finding a support at maybe 33.50, that could be a spot where I end up buying back in. And of course, I'll let you guys know in these videos. So subscribe to the channel for future content. So in terms of profit taking, that is pretty much it for today. Uber and what's the other one, guys? PayPal. And other ones that did well for me were McDonald's. This one was up about 1.62% today. Bought a little bit of McDonald's yesterday. Home Depot ended up doing decently, actually pretty well here at the end of the market. It ended up going up 1.5%, $3.27. Activision Blizzard ended up ripping today, guys, in the morning, but you guys can see now it's actually down about 0.75%, about 50 cents at the close. And for me, that's telling me people are just locking in profits at this point, right? We were ripping up almost to 61 bucks, and it seems like we were overextended here. People started locking in, and at the end of the day, it's still in an uptrend. So I'm still holding some shares in Activision, and from my memory, that's pretty much all I'm doing right now in terms of all the individual stocks I'm holding in my swing portfolio, and really just some profits that I locked in today on the 8th of January. So let's talk about, and actually drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts on that, what you guys ended up doing today. Did you lock in profits on the strong day that we had out there in the market? I'd love to know. So actually, no, one more that I want to talk about here. We'll get into that in a couple minutes, though. It's going to be Facebook. We'll get into that one. But let's talk about Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA, which almost hit $500 per share here today, guys. It's incredible how much this stock has been running up. And if you guys, haven't been paying attention to it, it seems like Wall Street and a lot of these media outlets have turned bullish on Tesla. The narrative is slowly changing here from extremely bearish like we saw, a year ago, and you can see it on the chart clearly when Tesla went from 350 down to about 175. During this time period, it was very, very negative. But now, ever since they got some gigafactories built, the one in Germany, that one's actually not launched yet from my understanding, but the one in China, ever since they started doing this, the surprise profits, delivery numbers on Model 3 being great, these are all the catalysts that have been shooting up Tesla, and then all of a sudden now media outlets are turning bullish. We saw some analysts put $500 price targets on it, $600 price targets on it, and the stock has just been ripping it, guys, and in my opinion, it's because of that, because the media is finally turning bullish on it. It's crazy how much, at the end of the day, they do have a power, when it comes to painting a stock negatively or positively. And that's something that a lot of people, especially if they've been investing and they, have experience in the market, they know that, right? They know that. So Tesla at this point, $500. I have no doubt it will hit tomorrow or the next day or some point in the near-term future. I think Tesla will hit $500. But the question is, what is it going to do when it hits $500? Is it going to hold it on a technical basis, guys? I don't know. I don't really think so. I'm being completely honest. I don't think it's going to hold 500 very long, because at that point, take a look at this chart. There's literally no pull downs in the past, week and a half. There's no pull downs. And the stock is straight up. It's like a rocket ship, legitimately straight up. There's no curve, really. It's straight up. So if we hit 500, it's going to be very overbought to the point that I'm going to need to see it pull down probably back to at least 460, 470. But then again, guys, I've said this before with Tesla, and we've seen minimal pull downs with this thing. So I don't know. Like, the technical analyst in me is saying, the 50 SMA will be where it pulls down to at 450. That could be a spot, but I don't think it's going to sell off that much because of the hype here, putting it in such a funky spot. People might be looking at Tesla saying, FOMO, I want to buy here. And then on the flip side, they're saying, okay, I want to wait for it to pull down. And at the end of the day, it's going to lead to them being in a state of kind of analysis paralysis and just never do anything with the move. And that's kind of where I am right now. I've been missing money on Tesla because I keep waiting for the pull down, and that's just the state I'm in. I keep waiting for the pull down. It keeps going up and up and up, which is leading me to focus on other stocks, to be honest, which is why I haven't really been focusing on Tesla, especially these past couple of videos. You guys noticed it. I haven't really been talking about it. So for me, until it pulls down, I'm not getting in. And I don't care if I miss money because I've been making money in other stocks, and I have other stocks that I think will do better than Tesla here, at least in the short term, right? And let's talk about some of those, Facebook being one of them. I'm also in this, forgot to mention that a couple minutes ago in the trading update. This one, I believe, is heading straight to all-time highs at 218, 220, and I honestly think it has potential for an even higher push here, maybe to 230, 240, depending on how the markets stay. If the markets stay healthy, the bull run continues, obviously, Facebook being one of the biggest companies in the world, I think it's going to really, gain value from that. I think if the markets continue, Facebook will continue, which is why I've been buying in the 205, 206, 207 range, because I just feel comfortable having this being a staple in my swing portfolio as of right now. And some banking stocks. We haven't talked about some banking stocks, guys. JP Morgan and Bank of America right now, they're opening up some pretty solid dip opportunities. With the market seeing some tensions over these past couple of days, JPM has gone from 141 all the way down to 132 yesterday pre-market, or rather after-market hours after we got that news, right? And now it seems like we are recovering, although we are still downtrending technically here on the hourly chart. And if we go on the 5-day, 5-minute, you can see we're slowly breaking out of that. We can see on the 4-hour chart, we are continuing the uptrend as we did hold a higher low on top of this 180 SMA. So for a swing here, and they're actually reporting earnings which could definitely fluctuate the stock. I think this is definitely worth watching here, from maybe 137 up to about 142. That could be around a 3-4%, but again, they're reporting earnings, which could definitely fluctuate the stock, and I'm paying attention to that, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe it offers a trade before then, but most likely I'm waiting until after earnings to get into JP Morgan. So Bank of America is another one where it saw a bit of a dip from $35 down to about, I'd say, actually more like $36, $35.80 to be exact, down to about 30, what was it, like $34. That ended up opening up a nice 4 to 5% chunk. And it's crazy, guys. These stocks, they can go up in the matter of a couple weeks, 4 or 5%, but it takes like that. It takes the snap of a finger, 2-3 days for it to lose that. And it's funny, like, if you realize it and look at stocks, just take a look at a lot of them. Most of stocks, they fall a lot quicker than they go up. This stock here, for example, it took what, like, you can see this is a perfect example. Bank of America went from $26 to about $31 in the matter of 2 months. And then it fell from $31 all the way back to that 26 level in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, guys, it lost that same value. It took 2 months to gain that value and 2 weeks, a quarter of the time, to lose the value. So that is interesting, right? And for me as a swing trader, I'm always looking at pull downs to add to positions, right? And I'm looking at large caps all the time. Bank of America being one of them, and again, JP Morgan. So those are two. Bank of America is also reporting earnings here on the 15th. So those are two banking stocks that are worth watching right now. In my opinion, some more expensive in terms of the actual price of stocks that I'm watching. Amazon, AMZN. And I know a lot of my viewers, maybe can't buy a full share of Amazon or whatever, but this is still worth watching if you can trade with, let's say, platforms that offer partial shares. I know M1 Finance, that is not a trading platform. That's strictly long-term investing, so that's completely out of the picture. But with Robinhood now coming out with fractional shares, I believe soon, I forget, to be honest, when exactly they're coming out, you'll be able to trade something like an Amazon, and if Webull eventually comes out with fractional shares, you can use them as well to trade a stock that's worth $2,000, even if you have, $500 in your trading account, whatever it may be, right? So Amazon is seeing a resistance now at about $1,900, and I think there's potential from $1,900 up to about $1,950 if we break that resistance, and that really just relies on the market, right? If the market does well, if the market continues rallying here, this large cap should continue rallying as well, in my opinion, and that gap has about a 2% potential on ticker symbol AMZN. Another one is NVIDIA, very similar to Amazon. It's right at a resistance right now at about 240, and the move that I'm looking for it to make is simply up to about $250, and I believe the fact that it closed above that resistance as a support today, I think there's a lot of potential for it to break up either tomorrow or the next day, and that move is around a 5% move here from $240 up to about $250. And one that has been kind of slaughtered is Square, ticker symbol SQ, and maybe slaughtered is a bit over exaggerating. It went from about $70 down to about $62. Actually, does that qualify as slaughter? Not really. That's about 12-13%. That's not too crazy. But either way, it's pulled down 12-13%, and now with today's mega move here of around 5%, we're officially continuing this uptrend at a higher low. We also broke above $66, which has proven to be a resistance in the past, so that's good. We're trending between $66 now and around, what is this, $70, which is a tradable channel. So for me, SQ now, it's in the middle of the range. I personally would like to see a pull down, maybe a retest at about $66.50, $67, and from there we'll get closer to the support. It'll open up more risk, or rather reward in terms of risk versus reward, right? And at the end of the day, it'll let us make more money, more potential for the trade. So SQ, I'd like to get in $67, and from there up to about $70, we can potentially make 5 to 6% potential here on Square. So to wrap up the video, let's talk about gold, because gold today took a rather big dump of about 60 points in the matter of the past 24 to 48 hours, which is insane. And it seems like now we're getting closer back to those old highs here, based on the 6-hour chart at around 1550 to 1560. And this is putting it at a spot where for the bulls out there, we need to hold, not saying I'm a bull, but the bulls need to see it hold 1550 as well as this 50 SMA for it to continue the uptrend. And I believe if you think that gold will hold this level, this is opening up a huge opportunity for JNUG. JNUG is one that I trade personally sometimes, not a lot recently, to be honest, guys, but it is a 3x leveraged ETF that trades on gold, right? If we're talking specifics here, it trades based upon GDX, which is an ETF that tracks gold, and honestly, it just goes up at a leveraged rate as what to gold's going up, if that makes any sense. So if gold's up, or GDX rather, is up 1%, JNUG's going to be up 3%. because it's, again, 3x leverage. So this is one worth watching today on the 13% dip. GLD is another one that took about a 0.75% dip. This is another ETF that's really a gold-based ETF. So watch gold. This is always something worth watching. I talk about it on the channel, guys, because it shows kind of the fear in the market. It shows the movement of money out there, as well as the VIX. The VIX is showing more, actually more fear-based, in my opinion, than gold, because the VIX is the fear index. That's what a lot of people call it. So when I'm judging these markets, when I'm analyzing the markets, I'm always looking at the SPX, S&P 500, or SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, and I'm watching gold, and I'm watching the VIX for fear and to see what people are doing. If they're flooding into gold, are they scared of, the stock market? Are they anticipating some, crazy event out there that could hurt the economy? Whatever it may be, right? So that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to go down below for me and hit that like button. Don't forget, 150 likes, that is the channel, or not the channel, the challenge for this video. And subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see further content from me. And I also have another offer for you. If you want 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400, no strings attached, I have an affiliate link down below with Webull. If you deposit $100 using that link, you simply get 2 free stocks, and they could be valued up to $1,400, which is insane. That is free money. You can just sell it off and invest it in whatever you want, guys. So go take advantage of that. That's linked down below in the description box. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks again for watching. As always, peace out.